These two couples book a motel to spend the night together. But through the window, they shockingly see something terrifying, an unknown person being killed right before their eyes. The killer is wearing a creepy mask. When the masked man notices that the couple has seen him, he becomes furious, realizing they might expose him to the police. Filled with rage, he decides to kill them next. Now, in order to survive, the couple must think fast and find a way to escape before it's too late. Welcome back to Movie Unlimited. I don't have many subscribers, but your single comment is a ray of hope to motivate me. The movie begins by showing Amy and David Fox, a married couple who seem to love each other deeply, though there's visible tension between them. They've been on the road for 2 days, driving through empty highways on their way back home after attending a family event. As night falls, their car starts making strange noises. The road is quiet, and the atmosphere feels unsettling. The couple begins looking for a hotel to spend the night, but the area feels deserted. The wind howls, and darkness surrounds them. After a while, they spot a small gas station and decide to stop there. The man at the gas station seems odd, but they still ask him if there's a nearby motel where they can stay. The man tells them to drive a little further down the road, where they'll find a small motel that's open all night. He then advises them to continue their journey in the morning. Amy and David thank him and drive off. After a few miles, they finally see an old sign that reads, Pinewood Motel. The place looks abandoned, the paint is peeling, and not a single person can be seen around. But as it's late and they're exhausted, they decide to check in anyway. When they enter the motel lobby, they're greeted by the motel manager, a strange man with an eerie smile. David tells him they just need a room for one night. The manager offers them a room at an unusually cheap price. The couple is surprised by how low the rate is, but they're too tired to question it. They pay and take the key to their room. After checking in, they go out to grab a small dinner and return to their room afterward. But once inside, they realize something's off. The place is old and dirty, dust covers every corner, and the walls look like they haven't been cleaned in years. It feels like no one has stayed there for a very long time. Annoyed, the couple argues about the motel's condition. Still, they decide to stay since it's already midnight. They try to get some sleep, but Amy suddenly starts crying. When David asks her what's wrong, she reveals that being in this dark, lonely place reminded her of their son, who passed away years ago in a tragic accident. The movie flashes back to the past. We see that the couple once had a young boy, around 7 years old, who died in a car crash. Since that day, Amy and David have blamed themselves for his death. Their marriage has never been the same. They constantly argue, unable to move on from the pain. Amy tells David that she doesn't think she can stay with him anymore because every time she looks at him, she's reminded of their son. David, heartbroken, begs her to reconsider. He says they can start over, maybe even have another child, but Amy refuses. Later that night, as they lie silently in bed, they're both startled by a loud knock on the door. The knocking grows louder and more aggressive, as if someone is trying to break in. Terrified, they shout, asking who it is, but there's no response. The sound of banging continues. David quickly rushes to the door and holds it shut while Amy hides behind him. Whoever is outside clearly wants to get in. After a few tense moments, the noise suddenly stops. The couple, shaken and confused, decide to go to the motel office to report the incident. When David confronts the manager, the man acts calm and apologetic, claiming it must have been a mistake, maybe another guest trying to find their room. He assures them everything is fine and sends them back. Still suspicious, the couple returns to their room, but they can't sleep anymore. David turns on the TV to distract them while they wait for morning. However, what they see on the screen shocks them completely. Every VHS tape available in the room shows brutal scenes of people being attacked and killed. At first, they think it's a horror movie collection, but then David notices something chilling. The room in the video looks exactly like their own. He rewinds and pauses the tape, staring at the background, the wallpaper, the bed, the curtains, everything matches perfectly. That's when it hits them. The videos they're watching were recorded in their motel room. Panic fills the air. They realize they're being watched. The couple quickly turns off the TV, locks all the doors, and begins searching the room. They soon find tiny hidden cameras tucked inside vents and behind mirrors. The horrifying truth dawns on them: the motel is a trap, and the manager is part of a group that films guests being tortured and killed. At that very moment, the manager is secretly watching them through monitors in another room. He listens to every word they say and sees everything through the cameras. He even has 2 masked men working for him, who do the actual killings. Before the couple can come up with a plan, the masked men suddenly break into the room, smashing the door open. Amy and David scream and run to the bathroom, locking themselves inside. They hear footsteps approaching, and the sound of metal scraping against the floor. The attackers are trying to break in. David quickly searches for anything they can use as a weapon. He finds a metal rod from the shower and waits by the door. The attackers finally break it open, but David swings the rod and hits one of them. Amy throws objects at the other attacker. They manage to escape the room and run down the hallway. The lights flicker, and the entire motel feels like a maze. Every door leads to another room filled with old bloodstains and broken furniture. The couple realizes they're trapped, all exits are locked. The killers are playing with them like it's a game. They finally find a back door that leads outside and start running through the dark woods behind the motel. They can hear the killers chasing after them. Their only hope is to find a road or another building before they're caught. At this point, the movie keeps the tension high, showing us that the manager and his men are professionals at hunting down their victims. They record every moment, planning to sell the footage later. David and Amy keep running, their hearts pounding, trying to stay quiet. They hide behind a tree as one of the killers passes by. The moment feels endless. When the path is clear, they start moving again, hoping to find help before the night ends. Michael, being quick and clever, immediately uses the window to escape with his wife, Amy. Without wasting a single second, they crawl out and rush toward another room that belongs to the motel manager. As soon as they step inside, they are shocked beyond belief. The room is filled with multiple TVs and hidden cameras, all showing different parts of the motel. The couple realizes the horrifying truth: every room in this motel is being watched and recorded. Their hearts race as they finally understand what's really going on. The man who seemed so polite earlier, the motel manager, is actually the one behind all of this. The videos, the masked attackers, the hidden cameras, everything was his evil plan. Amy and Michael search around the room, hoping to find something to protect themselves with, but the place is almost empty. It's clear that this room is used only for watching and recording victims, not for living. Just as they are about to give up, Amy spots a phone lying on the table. It's the manager's phone. Without wasting a moment, she grabs it and dials the police. Her hands are shaking, but she manages to explain everything that's happening, that they're trapped in a motel, people are trying to kill them, and they need help immediately. The police assure her that they're on their way and that they'll reach the location soon. But Michael knows they can't stay in one place for long. They quietly slip through another door and move into a different room before anyone notices. Now, both the masked attackers and the motel manager have no idea where the couple is hiding. They search every room, opening doors and shouting, but they can't find them anywhere. The couple, staying completely silent, hide in a small storage room, one with no cameras and no windows. They sit in the dark, trembling and whispering. Michael holds Amy close and promises her that no one will hurt her as long as he's alive. Amy, her eyes full of tears, apologizes for all the hurtful things she said before, about wanting to leave him and not being able to move on after their son's death. The two make a promise to each other: if they somehow survive this nightmare, they'll start over, stay together, and never look back. Minutes feel like hours as they wait. Then suddenly, the sound of sirens echoes faintly outside. The police have arrived. Relief washes over them, but Michael knows they must stay quiet until they're sure it's safe. The police officer steps out of his car and walks toward the motel office. He approaches the manager and says they received a distress call from this location. The manager, pretending to be surprised, puts on a calm face and acts innocent. He tells the officer that he has no idea what's going on, that a couple checked in earlier, caused a commotion, and then left without paying. The officer, suspicious, insists on checking the rooms for himself. He slowly walks through the hallways and enters the couple's room. Inside, he sees broken glass, scattered furniture, and signs of a struggle. Then his eyes land on something even more disturbing: videotapes showing people being attacked and tortured. Realizing that something terrible is happening here, the officer quickly heads back toward his car to call for backup. But just as he's about to open the door, one of the masked attackers appears from behind and stabs him in the back. The officer collapses to the ground, and blood spills onto the dirt. Amy and Michael, watching from their hiding spot, witness this horrifying scene through a small crack in the wall. Their last hope for rescue, gone in an instant. Michael clenches his fists, realizing they're completely alone now. Amy sobs quietly, and Michael tries to calm her down. He knows that hiding won't save them forever. The killers will eventually find them. So he tells Amy to climb up into the ceiling crawlspace and stay there until he comes back. Amy refuses at first, but he insists. "You have to live," he says softly. Once she's hidden, Michael takes a deep breath and steps out, determined to fight. But the danger comes faster than he expected. As he walks down the hallway, one of the masked men jumps out from behind him and drives a knife straight into his back. Michael gasps in pain, struggling to fight back, but the wound is too deep. He collapses to the floor, blood spreading beneath him. The attacker films the entire thing, just like all the other victims. Up in the ceiling, Amy watches everything. She covers her mouth, trying not to scream as she sees her husband being brutally murdered. Tears roll down her face, and she whispers to herself that when morning comes, she will make them pay. Hours pass, and finally, dawn breaks. The first rays of sunlight enter through the broken windows. Amy carefully climbs down, trembling but filled with determination. She sees her husband's body and cries beside him, whispering goodbye. Suddenly, she hears footsteps. One of the masked attackers spots her and starts chasing her, holding a gun. Amy runs as fast as she can, heading toward their car. She manages to get inside and quickly starts the engine. The man aims his gun, but Amy, thinking fast, slams the car into reverse and hits him with full force. He falls to the ground, and she runs him over, ending him instantly. Another masked man tries to stop her, but she doesn't hesitate, she drives straight into him. 2. The motel manager sees what's happening and screams in rage. His entire operation has fallen apart, and his men are gone. Furious, he shouts that she will never escape. Amy hides behind the motel for a while, waiting for him to calm down. Then, when the manager goes to search somewhere else, she sneaks back inside. She looks around desperately for a weapon. Finally, she finds a gun hidden in one of the drawers. Just as she loads it, the manager sneaks up behind her and attacks. They struggle fiercely, throwing punches, breaking furniture, knocking things over. The fight is intense, but Amy refuses to give up. Summoning all her strength, she turns around and shoots him. Once, twice, and then again. The motel manager falls to the ground and dies instantly. Amy stands over him, breathing heavily, finally free from the nightmare. She wastes no time and calls the police again, telling them to hurry. When she rushes back to check on Michael, she's shocked to find that he's still alive, though barely breathing. He has lost a lot of blood, but his heart is still beating. Amy, thinking fast, searches for something she can use to help him. She finds medical supplies in the manager's office and does everything she can to stop the bleeding. She even gives him her own blood through a transfusion to save his life. Finally, Michael opens his eyes, weak but alive. The couple holds each other and says, "I love you." They promise that once they get out of here, they'll never separate again. They'll move on, start fresh, and maybe even have another child, this time living happily, away from pain and sorrow. The movie ends showing the police arriving at the scene as Amy and Michael hold hands, still covered in blood but alive. The nightmare is finally over. Dear viewers, this was the entire story of the movie, Vacancy, 2007, a chilling tale of survival, love, and courage. Let us know your thoughts about the movie down in the comment section. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you won't miss our next movie recap. Until next time, stay safe, stay tuned, and we'll be back with another thrilling story soon.